mi khaskeren hoy le du vid av dei kho va ri khasme leven mi shay me shekho ot mi khaskeren hoy le du vid av dei kho va ri khasme leven mi shay me shekho.
Hello everyone, this is the third in the segment of the Chazzan for SLICHOT. It's the Chazzan all day. And the question we're going to deal with today is, does this apply today or not? And once again, it's going to be a result of the reasons for this particular halacha that the Ramah brings. Namely, if the reason is hamatchil b'mitzvah omrim lo gmor, you start the mitzvah, you finish the mitzvah. Or as Rav Soloveitchik explained it, the Chazzan for Slichos, or Slichos in particular, is the introduction to all the davenings of the day, then obviously nothing changed today. We still say Slichos. It's still the introduction for the davenings of the day. The halacha of hamatchil b'mitzvah omrim lo gmor still applies. The Torah is eternal, and therefore this would apply. And that is indeed the position of the Mata Ephraim in the Elef Hamagen. The Elef Hamagen is his perush on his Mata Ephraim, and he writes, "U'b'medinatenu harbeno hagin ken, v'chol makom ya'aseh keminhago." Indeed, in our country, this is exactly the custom, but he adds, every place should do like their custom. The minute you see that, you know that others didn't do that way. And indeed, if you go with the reason of the Binyan Shlomo, of Shlomo Lev Vilna, who says it's appeasement to the Chazan, he's having this lowly slichot job, we want to give him something of stature, comes along the Rav Shlomo Lev Vilna and says, the Chol ze shayach bismanehem, this is all at their time. The hashatz hayamotzi l'chol hatzibur beslicho b'tfila. In other words, no one had a slichos book. The Chazan would say it out loud. Everyone would hear it, shomeya ke'oneh, and they would fulfill their obligation via the Chazan saying it out loud. Aval ha'idno, but today the kulan omrin, everyone has their own slichos books. The hashatz ha'omer slichot, eino rak mesayem achar kach kedei shemo hakol b'shaveh. The Chazan is an Ashkenazi Chazan who's a stoplight, you know? He tells you when to stop and when to go. He's the traffic light. That's all he does. Lo shayach klal, v'yitnilu pitzui kedei sheyavo. At the end of the day, you don't need to appease him. Why? Halo belav hachi tzarich lomar slichot. If he wasn't at the podium in the front, he was in the back, he would be saying the same slichot. You're not making him work harder. Once upon a time, he was the only person working. Everyone else just stood there with their ears open. But today, everyone's saying slichos, and he's saying slichos. And therefore, there's no difference between him and the rest of the people. And therefore, says Rav Shlomo Lev Vilna, so he has to work a little bit harder by saying the last verse of each piyut. No, he's saying it anyway. And therefore he says there's no reason to fulfill this halacha today because appeasement doesn't make sense. And therefore he says it doesn't apply. And he's not alone. The Mata Ephraim himself says, V'achshav lo nahagu ken. The Aruch HaShulchan from Norvadik. Rav Epstein says, Ve'etzleinu eina minhag ken. So as you can see, if the reason is hamatchil b'mitzvah omrim lo gmor, it seems very clear, according to the Elef Hamagen, Rav Ephraim HaGaliyot, that it would apply today. If the reason is appeasement, because we've changed the whole way that we daven, everyone has their own slichos and they say it anyway, as does the Chazan, he doesn't work too much harder, therefore, there's no reason to appease him. The middle opinion is Rav Moshe Sternbuch. Rav Moshe Sternbuch said that the reason for this halacha is that slichos people think is on a high level, and Shachris Mincha is not. And we want to show people that the opposite is true. Shachris and Mincha is on a high level, and actually Slichos is on a lower level. So therefore he comes along and says, that would only apply at the special Slichos when you take the special Chazan. Namely, and I quote his words, rak biyom aleph deslichos, erev Rosh Hashanah, v'yom amirat yud gimel minot, sha'abal tfilah miyuchad, v'hem yamim miyuchadim. In other words, there are certain slichos that we put on a higher caliber than others. What are they? They are the first slichos, you know, that Motzei Shabbos, when everyone comes to shul and we sing a little, and the slichos of erev Rosh Hashanah, where even an Avel is allowed to leave his house in order to come to shul. Even a mourner can leave his shiva in order to join services in the synagogue for slichos. And the slichos during the Aseret Yemei Tshuva that has the Yud Gimel Midot as the pismon in the middle. Those are special ones. So on those special ones, we have to be indicative to the congregation that, hey, slichos, with due respect, Shacharis is more important. So then we have to fulfill this halacha. But the slichos for Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday before Rosh Hashanah, there's no reason to, because ultimately people don't put up the best chazan for that. And therefore, there's no reason to indicate to the people that slichos is on a lower level. In other words, not much thought is put into it. And from this perspective, what we talked about the last time, does he come before the yortzeit? Does he come before the guy in Avelos? It wouldn't apply on a regular day of slichos. It will only apply in the special days of slichos. So to sum up, we have three opinions. One opinion is Hamatchil b'mitzvah mimlog more, or as Rav Soloveitchik explained it in the introduction to all the tefillos of the day, that would apply even today. But if the reason is, like Rav Shlomo Levilna appeasement, then the whole way we say slichos changed. Everyone's saying slichos, as does the chazan. So the chazan's not working much harder. He's just raising his voice at the end of each paragraph to tell everyone, stop and go. And therefore there's no reason to appease him, and therefore there's no reason to fulfill this halacha. And a slew of poskim agree, the Mateh Ephraim, V'Aruch HaShulchan. And finally, Rav Moshe Sternbuch says, I'll take a middle position. If it's a special slichos, fulfill this halacha, because people might think that slichos is on a higher level than Shacharis. But if it's a regular slichos, there's no reason to fulfill it.